their practical experiences with all of you. I was told to stand there, but I think it's too remote. I don't think you would even see me from there, so I'm going to be here. So we'll get right down to it. We're going to take the opening prayer, and from there, we'll get into the rest of the program. Eventually, you'll get to know our panel members, the august team we've put together to share their experiences with you. In the meantime, though, if Gladys Apenkro is here. Gladys? Gladys. Please join me here. Gladys appears surprised. You are? Quite. But you did know that at some point I would be calling you. You looked into your crystal ball. Or you didn't? Oh, well. I'm sure you'll be up to the task. Ladies and gentlemen, please let us rise as Gladys ushers us into the hands of the Lord with a prayer.
Shall we pray? Father, we hallow your name and we bless you for today. We thank you for the gift of life. Thank you that not only are we here, but your presence is here with us. We thank you that even as we've gathered in your presence to seek knowledge about the workspace, we ask in the name of Jesus that you bless us with understanding. Ask in the name of Jesus that you see this program to be all that we've destined it to be. We give you praise and we bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. We're glad that Gladys gave us that opening prayer. So welcome to the third UNIMAC IJ Academic-Practitioner Conference. It's the first time in a long time that I've come here, and actually the first time that I've come into the precincts of UNIMAC. And it's good to see that some of you actually know, and I spotted someone here who works with my outfit, the Multimedia Group Limited, and I never knew. She had mentioned it, but I had lost memory of it. So you're doing some amazing stuff, and your leadership as well. I think you deserve a round of applause. But to welcome all of us to deliver the address, someone I met curiously in the washroom of all places. I had never met him before. First meeting in the washroom. And it was good because I had to clarify the pronunciation of his name. So we sorted it out there. No LGBT, just relax. And now I have the pleasure of inviting him forward. In fact, he's already here to deliver the welcome address. Ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with me, let's honor Reverend Yao Odame Joe, Dean, Organizing Faculty, Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising, and Marketing. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. MC Benjamin. A very good morning to all of us. A very good morning to our distinguished panelists. You are all welcome. The representative of the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rebecca Ohene Essa, esteemed practitioners, distinguished guests, colleagues, students, ladies, and gentlemen. It is with great pleasure and a deep sense of honor that I welcome you all to the Academic-Practitioner Conference 2024, organized by the diligent and ambitious level 400 and 300 students of the Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising, and Marketing of the UNIMAC IJ. Today's gathering marks a pivotal moment in our collective efforts to bridge the gap between academic scholarship and professional practice in the fields of public relations, advertising, and marketing. This conference stands as a testament to our commitment to fostering a symbiotic relationship between academia and industry, ensuring that our students not only grasp theoretical knowledge, but also understand its practical applications in the dynamic world of strategic communications. In a rapidly evolving field, it is essential that the knowledge imparted in classrooms is seamlessly integrated with the insights and experiences of industry practitioners. This convergence ensures that our graduates are not only well-versed in the professional or in the foundational theories, but are also equipped with the practical skills and innovation thinking required to excel in their careers. Academics provide the rigorous research and critical thinking that underpin our understanding of communication phenomena, while practitioners bring these theories to life through creative and strategic implementation that shape public perception and drive organizational success. The theme for today's conference, Synergy for Transformation, is particularly pertinent as it underscores the similarities and interconnectedness between academic inquiry and professional practice. Stephen Covey, an American educator, author, and businessman, defines synergy as follows, and I quote, "Synergy is what happens when 1 + 1 = 10, or 100, or even 1,000. It's the profound result when 2 or more respectful human beings determined to go beyond their preconceived ideas to meet a great challenge. Of course, such a greater challenge may call for some transformation or absolute transformation, and that justifies the reason why this conference seeks to digest the role of synergy and the possible transformation it can generate between academics and practitioners. In their study entitled Through Synergy in Cooperation Towards Sustainable Business Strategy and Management, Holubich et al. 2023 posed a critical question for reflection, and I quote, "Could theory about synergy and its effects help to strengthen the cooperation between organizations to achieve more sustainable business?" To answer this question, they focused on 3 research domains. 1, synergies and synergy effects. 2, cooperation environment. 3, strategic management. To put this in context, organizations that have something in common or have a part of their services tied in with others or another need to cooperate or collaborate strategically and synergistically to foster mutual support and greater effects than what their individual efforts can achieve. Henceforth, I suggest and propose that academic institutions and corporate organizations must engender synergistic collaborations that goes beyond a conference and stimulate lifelong partnerships for mutual benefit to our nation. I believe this conference is marking the beginning of such synergistic collaborations. Last year, the discussion was inclined towards turf war in organizations and the role of PR, as well as the need for students to undertake practical projects whilst in the university and leverage the skills and competencies acquired for prospective employment. Now, let's keep our fingers crossed and engage in the discussions at APC 2024 as it is about to throw something to us. Throughout today's sessions, we will have the privilege of hearing from esteemed academics who will share their latest research findings, as well as accomplished practitioners who will provide invaluable insights into the current trends and challenges facing our industry. This dialogue promises to be enriching, offering diverse perspectives that will enhance our collective knowledge and inspire innovative approaches to our work. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee for their dedication and hard work in making this conference a reality. Your efforts have provided us with this unique platform to engage, learn, and collaborate. To our students, I encourage you to seize the opportunity to interact with our distinguished guests. Ask questions, seek advice, and network with both your peers and professionals who are present here. This is your chance to gain a deeper understanding of how the principles you study are applied in real-world context, and to start building the relationships that will support your future careers. In conclusion, let us embrace the spirit of collaboration and transformation that defines our field. By bridging the gap between academic and practice, and we can drive the progress of public relations in this country, ensuring that our contributions continue to be impactful and relevant in our ever-changing world. On this note, I welcome all of you to the 3rd edition of the Academic-Practitioner Conference 2024. Thank you all for joining us. I look forward to a day of insightful discussions, meaningful connections, and networking. Once again, you are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rev. Is that all you can do for Rev? If this is what you're doing to Reverend Dzorwulu, then I don't know what you will do for me. He used the word synergy. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know the theme for this event. Anyone to hazard the meaning of the word synergy? I see people immediately go on their phones. So the theme, anyone? UNIMAC. Yes. You are done searching, eh? You didn't. He already spoke about it. Okay, so I want you to do something. Please come. The lecturer in me is coming out because I like interactivity. I don't like what the hell, then we'll be bombarding you with no. So I'm going to make you a little uncomfortable from time to time, so you better stay on your feet. Because if I see you and you are pretty and you are handsome and all of you are, Asamato, welcome to you. Yes. Synergy means?
Synergy is when in a corporation, the parties involved are able to bring a bigger output than they would have done individually, or collectively if it's way more than they would have.
Please, put your hands together for it. What's your name?
Ed Fay.
Ed Fay. Okay, first time hearing that name. So at least we have one person who didn't need AI or Google to give us. Later, just fair warning, I'll be coming to you about your expectations before the panel discussion starts. But for now, we're going to take the keynote address, and we all know the significance of that for events such as this. It's going to be delivered by none other than Professor Eric Opoku-Mensah, conference host and Vice Chancellor of UNIMAC. Ladies and gentlemen. Do we? Prof, please, do us the honors.
Please, I am not Professor Opoku-Mensah. I am not, but I'm excited to be here to stand in his stead, to read his speech. He really wanted to be here, but he has to be somewhere else on an equally important assignment. So please, my name is Dr. Rebecca Ohiniasa. I am not professor yet. Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and students, and all the invited guests here, I'd like to say a big good morning again for being here. You could have been so many other places, but you chose to be here, and we are grateful. It is an honor for me to stand before you today representing our dear Vice Chancellor, Professor Erekopoku Mensa at this esteemed gathering, which is the third UNIMAC IJ Academic Practitioners Conference. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this significant event, which is organized by the Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing, which we usually would say FOPAM, here at IJ at the UNIMAC, which is the University of Media, Arts and Communication. This conference, the theme has already been, you all know the theme, is Synergy for Growth, which aims to bridge the gap between academia and practice within the fields of communication, media, and arts, and their immense relevance to the organizational world. Today, we gather not just to discuss, but to explore and forge deeper collaborations that will drive our shared vision of growth and innovation. Now, I'd just like to add some few words to that. About a month or so ago, I had the privilege of being at, participating in a stakeholder meeting organized by the GTEC, where the GTEC presented some research where they suggested that there's a big gap between industry and research, or industry and academia. And so this is a very pivotal event that is being organized, because I'm sure if GTEC was to go around again, they will realize that some institutions are indeed doing a lot to bridge that gap. Now, I'd like to acknowledge and extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished panelists, all those who have accepted to be here, the moderator, the MC, and all participants for making time to be here. Your presence and contributions are vital to the success of this conference. A special thank you goes to you, Reverend Yao Odamijewu, who is the Dean of the Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing, and the organizing committee for their tireless efforts in putting together this event. Additionally, I want to highlight the exceptional efforts of our students who have taken the lead in organizing this conference under the guidance of our dedicated faculty. This is a testament to the practical and hands-on learning that we are preaching here at UNIMAC, because we do prioritize practice, hands-on, and this is what is ensuring that our students are indeed prepared for the industry. I'm going to go back to the theme of synergy for growth, which resonates deeply with the ongoing efforts to align academic insights with practical applications. In our rapidly evolving world, the synergy between academic research and industry practice is crucial. This collaboration not only enhances the relevance and impact of our educational programs, but also drives innovation and growth in the industry. The benefits of what we are doing here today are so many. The UNIMAC IJ Academic Practitioner Conference has consistently, for the past 3 years, provided a platform for fruitful exchanges, networking, and professional development. It is through events like these that we can explore innovative strategies, share research insights, and foster entrepreneurial spirit among our students. The benefits are manifold, ranging from enhanced organizational management and growth to funding opportunities for academic research, both for students and even for faculty. At UNIMAC, we believe in hands-on learning, which we have said, making sure that our students are not only prepared academically, but they are also ready to meet all the demands that the industry require. Now to a call for action. As we proceed with today's discussion, I urge all participants to engage actively, share their perspectives, and collaborate openly. Let us use this opportunity to build lasting partnerships that will benefit both the academic and practitioner communities. Now, in the words of our Vice Chancellor, I call upon universities and institutes of higher education to foster more collaborations between industry and academia. Such partnerships are essential for driving innovation, growth, and the development of a highly skilled workforce. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate our commitment to fostering a collaborative environment where academia and industry work hand in hand, where the gap is bridged, where we can foster and bring out the full benefits of both. The Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing at UNIMAC remains dedicated to this cause, and we look forward to the insightful contributions and discussions that will emerge from today's conference. Thank you once again for your presence and participation. Let us embark on this journey of synergy for growth with a shared vision of hope and also collective effort. It's not one person, all of us, collective. May today's conference be a resounding success, paving the way for continued collaboration and growth in our fields. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you very much. Doc, please, let's keep clapping for her. Dr. Rebecca Ohene Ansa. Asa. Okay. I am still going to make some corrections and get familiar with the name. So quite an interesting keynote address on behalf of the Vice Chancellor. And one thing that stood out for me when she spoke about GTech and that report or meeting that spoke about the disconnect between practice or the professional world and academia and students. And that is something that at work we see all the time. People come, yes, from this institution, from many other institutions, and sometimes it's a bit of a puzzle. Are they ready? Are they not? A lot of the times, you are not. And the question is, why? Because you have the schooled aspect in you, the academic work, you have it. But the practical aspect. But I'll just leave you with this. If you're here, you have a head start. You have an advantage. You know why? Do you know why? It may shock some of you, but I have no training in journalism. Absolutely none. If you look at some of the biggest media personalities across the world, CNN, BBC, and the West, they didn't. In fact, I always laugh that it was God's will. It was a mistake. Not a mistake, literally, but that I ended up. And this gentleman here, Professor H.A. Sikanku, knows part of my story because I worked with him in a previous outfit. My training is in politics and international affairs, in languages. I speak French, Spanish, some Portuguese, a little German, and in law. No journalism. But if you've ever watched me, you know how, or you would have seen how I can segue, interestingly, between, you can put me in sports, entertainment, and as for my strong areas, current affairs and politics, and I'll excel. So you already have a head start. If you add on some of these, you'll be in a comfortable lead. No pun intended. On that note, before we get into the panel session, I'd just like to find out from 1, 2, 3 of you, what are your expectations of today? At some of these events, I've been to a number of them, Gimpa and other places. People come and sit down because, oh, we are supposed to come here and sit down. What are your expectations? I need about 3 of you with gender balance. Likely 2 ladies, 1 gentleman. Now people are breathing in and out because it's like, a bit me atuacho. If you look at me, I'll call you. If you don't look at me, I'll call you. Any volunteers? Any volunteers? Another thing I've noticed in our academic institutions, we don't like engaging. We are very laid back. I have a lot of people who have been to schools, tertiary institutions abroad, and it's a problem with Ghanaians. You don't want to come forward. Why? We have a hand up. Yes, please. What are your expectations? Your name, your expectations.
Please, can I sit? My name is Antoinette Oseitu.
Before she starts, hi, my name is Bridget. There's a very clear gap between on the job in school. Why are you people sitting all the way back? You've chosen a career that puts you at the forefront, whether it's marketing, communications, public relations, no matter how shy you are, please come forward. How you present yourself is how people will perceive you, okay? I've had to learn this the hard way. Let's learn it now before we start work. Please, move forward. Unless the seats in front are for designated people, please move forward.
So let's do this very briefly.
Yes, very briefly, please.
So we can also leave some seats at the rear for those who will come in a bit later. If you don't mind, respectfully, please. Let's come forward a bit. Is someone in that spot? Is someone here? Is someone in that spot? Please, let's just fill up quickly.
Before I respond, I'll apologize for the seating arrangement and also say practitioners who are already in the field, who are putting together academia and practical knowledge who have the skills, who have already acquired the skills. So we are here to listen to them and tap into their wisdom and learn from some of the things and their experiences. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any others? One or two more students? Nobody? The time may come when I'll have more time to get into that. But without further ado, you see our panel members here. We have our moderator as well. But before we get into that, I would like to invite forward to introduce the panelists, Nelly Irabna Ayuku and Musa Barry. Please, let's welcome them. We can do better. Let's keep it coming.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation. So with the first speaker, we have Maoli Fui Kojovia. So he is a communication specialist with 15 years of experience in public relations, crisis communications, stakeholder involvement, and reputation management. He is currently the Senior Corporate Affairs Officer at the Bui Power Authority, managing the authority's image and reputation in managing various projects. With a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in Theatre Arts, a certificate in Public Relations, Marketing and Advertising, and a professional diploma in Public Relations, Reputation Management, and Stakeholder Engagement. He has participated in numerous international conferences and workshops. He also runs an online program called the Communication Masterclass on Facebook, aiming to provide resources for shaping ideas, leadership, career, guidance, and mentoring. On to the next, we have Madam Bellona Gerard. Sorry, so please, if Mr. Mauli is here, okay, please, let's give it up for him. On to the next, we have Madam Bellona Gerard. She is a highly accomplished and results-oriented professional with background in corporate communications, stakeholder relations management, and media. She has a proven track record in building and sustaining corporate relations, fostering business leadership relations, strengthening Ghana Energy Awards relations, and securing technical support for the VRA Academy. Bellona Gerard's expertise in corporate branding and graphic design has transformed VRA's image, and she is known for her ethical approach, strong multitasking abilities, and dedication to addressing external issues. With 30 years of experience in the energy industry, she is seasoned strategic communications and brands manager with excellent negotiations and lobbying skills, innovative thinking, and policy formulation expertise. Please, if Madame Bellona is here, let's see you. You're welcome, Madam. So, on to our third speaker, we have Professor Eche Sikanu. Sika Anu. We have Professor Eche Sika Anku. He is an associate professor of journalism and communications at University of Media Arts and Communications, Institute of Journalism. He holds a PhD in journalism and mass communications from University of Iowa, a master's degree in journalism and communication studies from Iowa State University, and a BA in Political Science from the University of Ghana, Legon. Sika Anku's work has been published in top-rated journals and has been guest speaker at various universities. He has contributed to the public discourse and policy nationally and internationally, serving as a television host, special assignment reporter, and radio talk show host. Let's see Mr. Sika Anku, if he's here, Professor. You're welcome, sir. So Barry will move to the next speaker.
Thank you very much. So our next speaker is Ni Nokwe Teki. He's an academic professional serving as a lecturer in the marketing department of the University for Media Arts and Communication, Institute of Journalism, UNIMAC IJ. He is also pursuing his PhD in the School of Business Sciences at the University of the Witwatersrand. Have I mentioned that correctly? Okay. Did I try? Okay, I'll continue. Thank you. In Johannesburg, South Africa. Teki specializes in teaching courses such as brand marketing, brand management, artificial intelligence in marketing, and entrepreneurship. Please, let's put our hands together if he's here. Thank you very much. I would also move on to Mr. Idrisu Fusaini. He's also a lecturer here at UNIMAC, PhD candidate at the Durban University of Technology. Wow. Communication coordinator in Ghana. I mean, he had a short stint with communication coordinator in Ghana with Kenyan-based agricultural technology company that is Pula Advisors GmbH. He's also a member of the International Communication Association, that is the ICA PR division. Please let's put our hands together for Mr. Husseini Idrisu. And also, Muhammad Ali, an interesting name, right? Yeah, Cassius Clayton and Muhammad Ali. So we're looking forward to seeing who that person is. Muhammad Ali, head of marketing and communications at ADB PLC, has over 14 years of experience in banking. He holds a bachelor's degree in political science and an executive master's degree in marketing from the University of Ghana. He is currently pursuing a PhD in marketing at the University of Professional Studies. Ali has contributed to the body of knowledge in brand management and has written articles for various media portals. He also offers professional assistance to businesses in branding development, and sales strategies. Ali has consulted for USDA Amplifies Ghana and has extensive people management skills. So I believe he's gonna exhibit those skills here. Please let's put our hands together for Muhammad Ali. Yeah. And to the one who is going to coordinate this event, I'm talking about the moderator for today, Bridget M. Bessie Mete. Pardon me. Can I continue? Okay, Bridget Bessie. I'll take that again. Our coordinator or our moderator for today is in the person of Bridget Bessie. Now, she is a skilled professional with over 17 years of experience in public relations, business development, and finance. She has worked with major brands like Tullow Oil PLC, Car Powership, Stanbic Bank, MTN, Nestle, Milo, Devtraco Group, the Soft Tribe. Please clap as I'm saying these things. It's very necessary. Yeah. And Mondelez, right. As Public Relations Manager for Central and West Africa, she leads in new business acquisitions. Once again, please let's give it up for Bridget Bessie-Mete. So this brings us to the end of the introduction of our panelists and of course our moderator. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the program. I'll hand over to Benjamin Akakbo. Thank you.
Hello, my people. I'm happy to be here. Not too long ago, I was like you. So I'm happy to be here. Maybe you can get something from me, but rest assured, you will get so much from the panelists here today. Thank you for coming, and thank you for moving forward. So, very quickly, our reason for being here today is basically to bridge the gap, right? Bridging the gap between academia and practice. Most people say it's a significant problem. I say it's solvable as well. I think people need to stay learning. People need to ask when they don't know. So I'm going to pose the question to my very distinguished panelists today. And very quickly, I'll start with Mr. Cassius Clay. Yes. How important is this collaboration between academia and practice from where you sit at ADB?
Thank you very much, Bridget.
Is it okay if I stand?
And thank you. First of all, I think I must congratulate, the organizers and the school for putting together this wonderful, novel, project. That's 6. In fact, this is something that a number of people or industry have always talked about, from generations to generation, trying to make sure that at least there is that synergy. And to the extent that the school deems it fit to be, let me put it this way, the school is now, I see the school to be the leader in this space. So to the extent that the school has taken that responsibility on its shoulder, it is worth, commendation. So thank you very much for putting together this wonderful program. I must say that, zooming to the question, I must say that to the extent that bringing together academia and industry, to deliberate on matters of importance to national development is as important to the extent that it inspires, generational thinkers, and it inspires, results-oriented people to ensure that forward we pursue the forward march, for development of this nation, both academic purposes and then that of industry. So to the extent that it inspires, generational thinkers and problem solvers, it is very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Ms. Bellona. You've been working longer than some people have been alive. You have so much to give us. I can't wait to hear your answer.
Thank you very much, Bridget, and good morning to all of you. A problem identified is half solved. The link between industry and academia existed before the world. One is the input of the other, if we see it from that perspective. Industry exists because of skilled resource. And if skilled resource does not find its way to industry, then there is a gap. It is not only important, but it's crucial that industry is able to absorb human resource from the academia and to be able to help develop any nation. It is also the test case for academia to see if what they are producing year on year is really meeting the requirements that they have taxed themselves to. It is also to build on what academia is doing So for me, industry is a research base for academia. And there must be that input all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Mr. Dzorwulu.
All right. I want to look at it from this perspective. We can identify three important groups here: the lecturers who teach in the classrooms, the students who learn, and practitioners who implement the theories that lecturers developed, or if you like, researchers or academics. Having a collaboration, seek to help these three different groups. Because what that would do is that it's going to imbibe students with practical hands-on knowledge that they wouldn't have had in the classroom. At the same time, it is going to help the lecturer to know how his or her theories that, is developed in the classroom, how those theories have been applied on the field. And it's going to help the practitioner also know new trending things that are coming to shape the way of practice. So I believe collaboration is very important to these three groups. The moment you take away the element of collaboration, you deny these three groups an important element of knowledge. The student is denying the opportunity to practice what he's taught in the classroom. The lecturer is denying the opportunity to learn new trends of practicing on the field. And the practitioner is denying new theories that shape his practice. Thank you.
Mr. Che, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. And thanks to the organizers for putting this together. This is great. At the end of the day, we leave this university and we are going to work in the industry. And so everything that we learn in the classroom should equip us to go out there and do our jobs very well and to be productive. But at the same time, there are a lot of things happening in the industry on the ground which keep changing and which may not necessarily be in the textbooks or may not necessarily be what we are learning. And so it's extremely important that this synergistic relationship exists so that we feed off each other. Innovation, creativity, new thinking require a breeding ground. And the universities are those breeding grounds where these new ideas, this creativity, these innovations happen. At the end of the day, every civilization is moved forward or is built through the generation of new ideas and new knowledge, creative thinking, and new innovations. And the universities are the sort of, yes, the space, okay, is the engine where this new knowledge is generated. And with this new knowledge, we are able to build our societies and to be able to improve. But it does not just happen there, because we live in a social environment. And most of the things that happen are socially constructed by human beings. So it's important to also take cognizance of the new thinking, new things that are happening. When Mr. Akapo was speaking, he talked about his experience in the industry when students from UNIMAC come there and the kind of disjoints that exist over there. So it's very important that we recognize the usefulness of both sides so that each of them feed each other. Because Mr. Akapo can also come to the classroom and teach you about things that are happening in the field as well. So this synergistic relationship is very critical to make sure that we are improving our industries, we are improving our profession, and also developing society. Thank you.
Hi, Mr. Dzorwulu. Let's hear you. You go and then
Okay.
Mali goes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Great. Great. Good morning once again. I think the students here have done a fantastic job. You guys give yourself a big round of applause. I think you've done so well. My little 2 cents. I think they've said most of the things that have been playing in my mind. But at the end of the day, the key thing, as Prof. Sikanku mentioned, is knowledge generation. At the end of the day, there's a marriage that should be happening where there's a mom and a dad, and then the output is actually knowledge. And it's super important, the two avenues, both academia and industry, continue to interact. Because if the space continues to exist, it's not only going to be a problem to having the right people to come in to fill in roles, but even how to move to the next phase of human growth or human, I don't want to use the word evolution because I don't think we want to be more than that, but yes, human growth. So at the end of the day, the little 2 cents I have in there is that it's a marriage that has to work. There can never be divorce in this marriage, and that its child, knowledge, which we all need in order to always be the apex predator on this planet, it means that we always have to make this marriage work. So yeah, so this conference is supposed to make sure that mommy and daddy are okay so that the baby will come out right. So thank you.
Mr. Mauli, please let's hear.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm particularly happy to be here, especially to the faculty, Reverend Odame, Mr. Senanu, Madam representing the Vice Chancellor, and you students. I think a forum like this affords us the opportunity to not just discuss, but learn from you as students to send back to industry, and for us also from industry to unpack the knowledge or the practical things we do. Now, my seniors, many of them here, Eche, my big brother, Madam Bellona, who is an industry person, they've all said it all, but I'll be looking at this from the problem-solving perspective. Majority of the things that affect us as a people or as a country has to do with problems. Now, how do we solve those problems? Many of us have complained that the things we learn in school are not really helping industry. But if we must solve industry problems, how do we start? So I guess this forum addresses that issue, helping us to solve the problems out there. And we can only start when we work together, bring in industry, and then the students, faculty, as stakeholders together. Thank you. I'll share more as we continue.
Thank you so much. Before we proceed, this very beautiful gathering would never be possible without the support of a few brands and individuals, and I would want to give them notable mentions before we continue. Vena Natural Mineral Water, Fiesta Royal Hotel, Ejuma for Jobs Recruitment, Three Hills Ghana Limited, Meldus, and then the media partners are Asasi Radio, TV3, UTV, Peace FM, GH1 TV, and Ghanaian Times. We are really grateful to you for supporting this. Thank you. So as we all know here, as students and practitioners, communication is a science, and science quantifies whenever there's a problem or there's a solution. What do we think as practitioners is causing the gap? How can we quantify that? I'd like to start from Madame Bellona. In your space, how have you noticed the gap, and how do you quantify it and approach with solutions? Thank you.
This gap has existed for many years now. And we'll need to start from somewhere to work on it. In answering this, I may want our students to contribute. What went wrong? There's a problem, there's a gap. But what went wrong? If you look at how our educational system has changed over the years, who had thought that the change should have also occurred with industry? So we are in a country where things are done in silos. Today the education system is changed. One, it's changed. You get up today, it's 3 years, tomorrow is 4 years. With no recourse to the end result or the product of the system that is in process. So we used to have a 6-year basic education, then you have the 4-year middle school. In between, you can do common entrance. We wake up one morning and it was changed. They introduced JHS system. The JHS system came 4 years. It was changed to 3 years. We've gone back and forth. Industry is an entity that must plan and produce results over a time. So industry will not wait for academia. Industry will not wait for schools. So if there is a time these two could not collaborate effectively, the question is, now who caused them? At GIJ, you started with a program, I recall very well, in my mother institution, VRA, we had a collaboration with GIJ, where a certain number of students come there on practical attachment over a period, and consciously we get them back on national service as part of development and training. Tomorrow the system has changed at GIJ. Nobody is informed, students don't come again. I'm just talking about the inconsistency in the way we plan and do things. So when there is inconsistency, there's a communication gap. True or false? So if there is the situation that we have inconsistency between the program in the academia and how industry functions, then there's a basic problem. Again, we have our syllabi developed towards a certain goal. The question is, the programs and courses that are taught in our schools, how related are they to industry? So you have the knowledge-based curriculum, you have the skills-based curriculum, you have the freelance curriculum, then you have the entrepreneurial base of curriculum. Which one of them are we pursuing as an institute? So if you take UNIMAC, what are you known for? Do you have any specific specialization in your broad area of training? I think that is where the communication gap is coming from. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I want to take this from practitioners, and I'll come to lecturers, and then we make this work, okay? So, Mr. Cash, why do I keep calling you Cassius Clay? Where's the gentleman who brought all of this? Yes.
That's good. He was actually my mentor, so my role model. Okay, so what's the gap? I see the gap coming from a number of areas. These are 2 or 3. Number 1, there's a gap between industry authorities and university authorities, or tertiary institution authorities, or educational or academic authorities. In that, there hasn't been any extensive collaboration since for authorities to appreciate and understand the dynamics, the trends of industry, in order to be able to fashion out, programs that are aligned with new trends. There is that gap. There's another gap in the area of what I call experiential education. And I think Madam, touched on it a bit. Experiential education, is just equivalent to what I call experiential marketing, where you do your marketing based on, hands on deck, experience, field work. To a very large extent, there is that gap. There is that gap in a sense that a lot of students, don't have that practical experience throughout the academic, career. Just a few, maybe a month or two or so, and that ends it. And now even that internship or that, national service, that's post-education, contribution to the nation, that is national service. To what extent has industry and academia collaborated for even industry to appreciate how valuable academia attaches to internships and national service? So much so that if somebody is posted to an institution for an internship or national service, there is a criteria that should be followed to ensure an extensive impact on the person. Having done that, to what extent has academia collaborated with industry to ensure that, for example, if a graduate, leaves the school, industry wants to employ. Industry says, for example, I'm just giving you, a basic example. For us to employ, you must have maybe a year or two work experience. To what extent have we, dialogued to ensure that we bridge that gap? Because you cannot expect a fresh graduate to have that level of experience. To what extent, have you even been able to convince industry to say that, look, should we, ensure that even the internship and national service that is being done by graduates are factored as part of their work experience? Nobody's talking about it. And for industry, national service, internship, national service and internship, they are not part of the work experience. So we need to, create that conducive atmosphere for engagement. I was having a brief discussion or engagement with one of my very good friend, a lecturer. I said to him that, look, even the very internship that industry or academia, pushes, to what extent has authorities of the institutions engaged, industry? See, we only sit down and all we see is that, the institution has written, a letter to a student. Bring it to the institution for them to take you as, as an intern. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You must begin to ensure that you create a relationship, because nobody would open up to you, number one, when they don't know you, number two, when there is no element of trust between the two of you. To what extent has academia, taken that as an opportunity to create? And I was saying, for example, can we say that at the beginning of every academic year or every semester, if you want a number of people to do an internship, why don't you announce to the class that as part of this term's requirement, you are supposed to do ABC. And as part of it, I give you this period. Go and select the institution you want, to undertake your internship. Bring it to us. Now the authorities will now collate them, put them together, identify those institutions, and the authorities themselves we then take the initiative of engaging those institutions. You are not only sending the students to go and do internships, but you want to build relationships for other, other opportunities. Because once you build relationships, you are not only building to foster internship activities, but other, activities or other partnerships can evolve along that line. So to the extent that we don't do all these things, there is a huge gap. So we need to begin to move towards, bridging those gaps by undertaking those steps to ensure that there is a conducive relationship or atmosphere between industry and academia, such that industry or academia can feel freely, approaching industry. Industry should also be able to feel free to engage academia. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Zena Mineral Water, Fiesta Royal Hotel, TV3, Asasi Radio, I'm thanking all of you for supporting this today. Thank you. I'm hearing skill-based learning, experience. This is what I can tell you. As much as institutions can help one another, the business and the school, as an individual, what are you doing for yourself? You had 17 years experience in my bio. I promise you I'm not that old. Guess what? Every long vac, I would go and work. I worked throughout school. The short vacs are for me. The long vacs, I would work. So when I had to do my national service, they called me. You understand? And it helped in my skill development. That is just by the way. Mr. Mauli, very briefly, thank you.
Yeah, so Bridget, you almost took the winner out of my circles. I was going to start from that background that here I am. I didn't study comms in Legon. I started off studying theater arts and all the other things. But one thing that drove my passion for comms was the fact that as a little boy growing up at Keta with my dad, when we go to bed, before we go to bed, he would turn on the SW radio, that's the Sanyo radio, and then it would be on the BBC. So we'll listen to a bit, then he'll quiz me on some of the things that I've heard. Then in the morning at 3 a.m., he will turn it on until I wake up. He will get me up again to listen to a bit of it, and I will follow Focus on Africa and get to hear all the big names, Chakuchanya Harawa, Sophie Kenya, and all the other people who joined the BBC thereafter. So right from that age, I kind of had an intuition that I'm beginning to love this thing, hearing people speak. I should be seen in that space someday speaking. Fast forward to Legon, I continued somehow, not just by listening to the radio any longer, by being a very active participant, texting and writing to the BBC. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, whatever you want to be must start with your passion. If you do not have the passion, you are not going anywhere. Industry can be willing to employ you, but you don't have the passion, like Mr. Kakpo said, you are not going anywhere. So there must be a conscious effort on our part as students that whatever you aim to be, that's why some of the panelists said, you are at a very opportune time. You have the privileges that your path is now being guided. You said you want to do PR, you want to do marketing, you want to do brands, you want to do stakeholder involvement, and your path is being nurtured for you right from the word go. So you must have that passion to drive you. At Legon, any vacation and all vacations, I thought I was going to travel abroad because I was in vogue at the time. When your friends travel, they bring you all the nice perfume, so you must be willing to travel as well. Since I never got all my visas got rejected, I never got to travel. My parents say, you need to go out there and look for a job. How can I go out there and look for a job? A young student, just like that. Unbeknown to me, that was going to shape my future and whatever I am and still continuing to become. So you must have the passion before industry will be willing to employ you. I know students have difficulties in doing their internships. So I'll share my practical one with you. So you go to companies, they are not willing to pick you. Now, I keep telling people that you may go to, let's say, company A, and they are not willing to pick you. But it doesn't mean you should not continue to follow up even on the CV or in the internship letter you dropped. Your persistency, the consistency with which you even do that, will get the people curious. What at all do you have to offer? Why should we open our doors to you? Why should you come in here to learn? And sometimes it's also behoves on you that when you go out there, try and call for the attention of the HR. Lay down your problems that, look, I'm here to learn. I'm here to understudy somebody. I'm here to be offered the opportunity. If you don't even have a desk for me, whatever tasks you have for me, I'll take them, I'll go home, I'll work on them, and you can become the research hub for that company. Because one way or the other, you've identified a need you want to work in there, and you can help in solving their problem one way or the other. So passion for me is the first step to solving many of the problems between you as a student and then as an industry. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. To add to what he said before we go to academia, as you're sitting here, please, internet is free. ChatGTP is free. Whenever someone comes to me, oh, I need a job. I'm coming from the comms industry. I'm coming from a communication school. I want to see your blog. What are you writing about? I want to see what you are passionate about. Because if you don't have 2 years experience, I want to see something you've done. Because as you are coming in, yes, I will teach you, but I want to know you can meet me halfway. Please have a blog. Even if it's about your fingernails, it's fine. Have a blog. It's free, I promise you. Have a blog. Don't use your social media for just selfies. Please, have a blog. Write something. Or even sign up on LinkedIn. Write every day. Let it be nonsense. You will grow into it. I promise you. Come into academia, please. Yes. Yeah.
There's one key thing I would want us to look at. As students, what motivated you to come to the school you are in? Very crucial. Why are you here? If you have not been able to identify your purpose for being in the school, you can't make a headway. It is the purpose identified that will drive you. Then you need to take initiative. You went for lectures and you were taught about news gathering. And after lectures, you put your notebook in the bag and you've gone to sleep. You have to take initiative where you balance what you are taught with what you can learn. And I don't think that if you go to your faculty head to say, this weekend, I want to go to this company to go and find out things about ABCD, he would not help you to. Take the initiative. Go there during your student days. Go there on your own so that when it gets to the time that you need them, their doors will be opened to you. We have a gentleman with us at Nuclear Power from UPSC. He walked into VRA at the time and said, I'm on holidays. I'm from the Western region. I can't go back, so I need something to occupy me. He was doing accounting. And we decided to let him, of course, you had to seek the necessary permission for him to help us during the Christmas break. I tell you, the next time we wrote to UPS asking this guy to come back, he had worked there since level 100. We wrote to National Service to have him back. After National Service, he came back, and today he's a staff. So please learn to take initiative. And you can only take the initiative when you know your purpose for going to the school. Thank you.
Prophet Che, over to you.
Thank you very much. And thanks to the panelists, I've learned and I enjoyed the discussions from Madame, who talked about the university itself, its curricula, and its the purpose of the learning process. What is the goal of it? And then my good friend from ADB also talked about the relationship building. It's very true, you know, because it's a bit awkward to send the students out there into the bullseye without the university creating that synergy. So, and then Mauli talked about the personal initiative part, which Madame bolstered on. And I like the last example that you gave, because it helps me to know that I'm not that crazy in my interaction with students, because sometimes they make me think I'm crazy. I'm talking about something weird, you know, something abstract, you know, but I'm very, very happy it didn't come from me. In my interaction with students, even up till yesterday, it's a very casual interaction out of class. I'm genuinely concerned. And so I just ask, what are your interests? What are your hobbies? What's your passion? Why did you come to UNIMAC IJ? Why are you doing? And I'm like, so what are your plans? To cut a long story short, what are your plans? What do you want to do? And some have an idea. Sometimes they don't. That's okay, we can build it from somewhere. But when you interrogate, you realize the idea is the passion, there's some interest somewhere. So I then ask, what steps are you taking to arrive at that particular goal? You want to be a newscaster, you want to be a corporate person, what steps are you taking? And it's silence, zero. And they don't see anything wrong with it because you're waiting till I think 300 or some year where there's a compulsory or mandatory internship, and then they do that, and then hopefully they are satisfying some practical internship stuff, and then they go to 400 and they will graduate, and they expect that life is supposed to present them with a job. No, it does not work that way. Sorry. You have to do the thing you said, and it's from three different perspectives that we said. The institution is there, the industry is there, and then your own self is also there. So there are processes that have to take place. There's a method to it. There are methodological issues. And then there is also, I would say, the implementation or the final part of it. So I believe that when we tackle it from these three angles, okay, the tools, the processes, the method, and then the tools that we need. So what are those processes? That is the institution as a university. What is our policy concerning practical training? And how do we want to approach it? I think that I don't have to hold brief for the university. There's a lot of work to do in that area in terms of the structure, okay, the process, yes, of that internship building thing. There's so many ways to go about it, you know, and I believe we can improve, you can improve it. A lot of practical things that can happen. One of it is happening here. Some of it is the class projects that we do. The other one's inviting practitioners in to come and share, like we have here. So many things that can be done. Some people have a night with CEOs. I remember when I was in the US, we had what we call the speed networking and different things that they bring us close to the industry to work. You know, and that's where I had opportunities to work with newspapers and to work with a major public radio out there. So that's one. And then the methods. So if we have the policy and we have the idea, what is the method we want to use to implement it? And I believe that is the collaboration. That's where the collaboration comes in. And it should be input and output. It should be both ways. It should be what the industry wants, and it should also be what we want as a university. So we can even develop curricula which is based on the needs of the industry. It should work. I mean, I listened to one of my mentors, Kwekusi Chiadu, when I was in, I think, GHS or SHS, and he said the only way he became a great journalist was working from the back to the front, right? So he knows what he wants to become, so he just asked himself, what do I need to get there? So he didn't go to journalism school. He just had to read, he just had to listen to people who were reporting, he just had to analyze the structure of their reports and all of that to get it. So there's a method. And that method comes from the institution, but you, the individual yourself as well. He just practically took people's report and did an analysis of it, what are the elements, how did they do it, and that's how he learned. And that's why when I teach print news or I teach other classes, I have the news clip analysis that I do. And then I get people to go out there and actually report, and not just come and memorize and tell me that the lead is 5Ws, memorize, and they are gone. Okay? And then the tools. What do you have to get to go out there and do it? So Madam was talking about news gathering. They taught you news gathering. Do you have the phones? You have expensive phones. You know, what are you using them for? I mean, the stand and all of that. You can do your own report. Even at this stage, there is no reason why I should work in industry. I'm not saying it's not nice. I love it. But there's no burning desire. But even at this particular stage, and I think I probably need to share a little bit of myself, I still go out there and look for opportunities to practice what I teach in class, to practice what I preach. And when I was launching my book, Bernard Avler asked me that question. And he told me that's one unique thing he's realized about the way I carry myself about. So yes, I teach in class, I do research, and I do take my research very seriously because I think that the data and the research knowledge can inform how the journalists do their work, disinformation, misinformation, fake news, how to counter it, and all of that, how to report properly during the political season. What does it mean to be a good political reporter? So I write, and I believe that thing should influence them. But I also go out there and look for opportunities to practice what I teach in class. So in March, I was in the US covering their presidential primaries. That's international reporting. That's political journalism. So when I come back to the classroom and I'm teaching you reporting and writing, and I'm teaching political reporting, I am teaching you skills that you need in the industry. But also you are getting double knowledge because my own research informs you how to do it well. And I know what is happening out there. So I correct some of the mistakes before you even go out there. And I believe that is how that synergy should work. So I'm sure we'll talk more later on, but I'll just leave it here for now.
Thank you so much. Yes. Mr. Dzorwulu, before you go, I'd like to share this with them. Be brave enough to be bad at something new. Be brave enough to be bad at something new. This is by John Akoff. This is something that I go by. And it's really helpful because then you don't give yourself too much stress. You don't have to be perfect the first, second, or third time, especially when you're in a learning stage. That's just by the way. Mr. Dzorwulu. I'm sorry. Mr. Nitaki, please forgive me.
It's fine. It's fine. Yes, so my little 2 cents. I think most of the conversation has spoken from the personal bit where people must drive themselves. Mr. Ali and I had a little conversation before coming in the morning, and I like that he started it from there too as well. But yeah, I want to I think Prof. Tu has also touched on that bit, how the individual bit ends up affecting the whole experience, moving from the classroom into real world and bridging that gap. I want to also look at it starting from that relationship conversation. It is true. Yes, indeed, I believe academia, we must maybe step out of our comfort zone and then go out there and then interact. But it also goes both ways. Firms too can come in and take us on to use them as cases in our classrooms. Case in point, if you come into marketing, we have a few journals. One of our topmost journals, Journal of Marketing, one thing they are noted for, I remember I read a paper from V. Kuma, it had to do with mobile money payments. And that paper in itself, where he got the data from, it was from practice, actual practice, what was going on. And the findings, whatever they did, they eventually did put it in a report where they gave it to the firm for them to understand it. I believe academic writing can be boring and tiresome. I mean, when we give you guys projects to do and you have to open a journal, suddenly it's like, you people, all this English. So I agree, we have that small challenge in there. But I also think that it is high time when industry also has problems, recognizing they have problems, they should be excited enough to say that, hey, can we look for a school to just take this as a project and let's just see what's happening down there? Because in research, we have paradigms or ways of seeing the world. And one of the most exciting ways is being a positivist, basically being objective about how you see the world. And if you decide to let some of your problems trickle down into the universities and let academia play around with it for you, sometimes because you're out of it, you start seeing it from a different angle. And I've seen it in so many of the projects students have done personally. There are things that you might teach and then you realize that contextually it doesn't work here, but it works in a different manner. Then you start realizing, oh, maybe they should actually include this way of thinking to this approach. I'm sure those who've done some marketing will know about self-qual. If you come into the self-qual model, yes. If you come into practice, they still love it. Yeah. In fact, they use it a lot. Yep. But if you come into academia or research in itself, we've kicked it out because there are so many challenges with it. But you see, just like what we are saying, if we engage more, we'll be able to see, okay, there's small loopholes here and there that we could just fit in and fix and then address the problems. But I think it's a two-way street. We need industry. Industry too needs us. And it's high time maybe academics, we are being too shy, and we need you people to come and, bring us out of our shell. Like that girl you are trying to woo who you think is quiet, only to realize that she can talk more than a parrot. You understand?
That part.
So it's generally like that.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Nee, and then Mr. Idris finally.
All right. I think they've said it all, and I will begin from where he ended in terms of looking at it as a collaborative responsibility. Mr. Ali mentioned some innovative ways academia can come close to industry. It's very important. Some of the points that he raised, I think we need to pay critical attention to them. I was fortunate to be part of the Durban University of Technology, one of their departmental board meetings. And I was thrilled by the way they do things over there. At the board, they have industry practitioners on the board, even past students who have established their own enterprise as practitioners, they have them there. And the board decides the kind of programs that the department run for the school. So in that case, they have the input from practice integrated in the program. And I thought that was very beautiful. We can start thinking the same way here. We also need to plead with industry. They've always complained about the kind of product that we churn out, not meeting the standard. And if they recognize this problem, I believe they can also help us do something about it. They can meet us halfway. There is nothing wrong industry taking it upon themselves as a maybe corporate social responsibility, writing to academic institutions that over the years, there's the problems that we've noticed with the students who bring here. So we are taking it upon ourselves to make our environment as a training place for them. So can we have this collaboration so that maybe at the end of every semester, we have this number of students who possesses this number of quality or skills so that we can have them, we can train them. Because the students we are training, essentially, majority of them are going to industry. They are going to practice there. So if together we both train them the way we want them to be, it is industry that really reap the ultimate benefit. Then to touch on the students, I think Prof. Sikanku did a lot about that, how students need to carry themselves and prepare themselves out there for the job market. I think in my class, they know me for this special quote, that if you come to the university, there are two certificates that you need to acquire, the paper certificate and the brain certificate. The paper certificate is just a manifestation that you are a university graduate. It doesn't really add anything to you, but it's actually the brain certificate, which borders on your attitude, your creativity, your problem-solving skills. That will make you different and that will make you distinct. And that is what industry is looking for. But interestingly, we have our students just, preoccupied with first class. Anyhow, any means, it has to come, the first class has to come. They don't really think about having the actual knowledge. They don't really think of having the practical skills that industry need so that when they get there, they are able to practice. In fact, I know people who graduated with third class, yet they are doing extremely well, outside there. So it's not just about the paper class. It is also about that the kind of value you attach to that class, very important. So it's about time our students get to learn these things and better for them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to thank our sponsors again. Vena Natural Mineral Water, Fiesta Royal Hotel, Ejuma for Job Recruitment, Three Hills Ghana Limited, Meldes, and then the media partners, Asase Radio, TV3, UTV, Peace FM, GH1, and Ghanaian Times. Thank you so much. So we've gotten to the speed dating part of this discussion. So everyone gets 60 seconds, and then we're out of here. Thank you. So very quickly, we've gotten to the innovation and technology advancements. To all of you, what are the most significant technological advancements impacting communication science today? In your work, in your teaching? I'll start with Madam Pelona.
Say the information technology field. One of the greatest things that has happened in the last 20 years is access to information. It had come so suddenly and had overtaken almost all of us. Because by the time you catch up, new things are coming. Access now to information is so huge and big. The problem is managing the information. So those days that you had to read volumes of book, you had to pile them to get one idea. By a tap or a click, now you have it. Managing this information, understanding them in the context that you have to apply them is also a challenge. Access to it and availability, to some extent, is not a problem, but for students, it is a problem because of the cost involved. So again, even though it's there, getting it directly for use is a challenge because of the cost involved and the way it is not readily available for use by students. So you have universities that have e-library, but the e-library is not free. Students have to pay for it. You have universities that encourage online programs, online research, but the users must pay for it. So in the event that they cannot afford, its use then becomes a challenge. And then it has other effects where people now get the information from unauthorized or unauthentic sources. And then it becomes another challenge for the user and the system. Now, in practice, one of the key things that is done is that as soon as you enter the system, you are given access to information. And that access to information is to information, raw information or processed. If you don't learn how to manage your information, when you get a processed information, you are not able to distinguish whether it is for public use or it is restricted information or it cannot be used at all. So that is the other side of it. Access to information, when the information is available, how to use it. How do we distinguish what can be used and what cannot be used? Now, it is important that at the level in the schools, information must be made available. Access to information, for me, must be free so that students can have it and the school can teach them how to manage it. because the management is critical. If they are taught how to manage, then when it gets to classification, they are able to know what to do and what not to do. But when we don't make it available for them to access, then when we are teaching them how to manage it, we don't seem to get it, or they do not seem to get it. So when they come to industry, they are not able to navigate that area of information management. Then it leads to documentation. They are not able to document it and to be able to translate it into meaningful messages or information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Mr. Mowley, very quickly. Thank you.
Okay, so the impact of technology in the field of work is quite great. Some 3 or 4 years ago, I attended a conference in Vienna, and they said, at the end of the conference, they asked, what are the new trends to expect in the next 4 years? And they said the future of work is AI. Now, it's very easy to deploy AI these days. I don't know if you have any program on your curriculum tailored towards AI. You do? Great, great, great. So that is one thing that as students, you can spend most of your time, not most of your time, some time in learning, because it helps you in deploying or in able to use knowledge that you've gathered and how to process knowledge. But one key thing you want to know very well about AI is putting in the right prompts. If, for instance, you're writing a crisis communication plan and you don't know which area you want the artificial intelligence to go, you must be able to get the right prompts and define the scope of that crisis communication plan you want to write. So it's important to learn how to use these technologies in deploying or in executing your jobs. That notwithstanding, although AI is good, it doesn't take away the human factor. Your God-given brain, your God-given talent, AI doesn't take away that entirely. AI will help you in speeding up to get whatever research you want to do, but then you must always employ your brains to whatever facts or data it's gathered for you, because it's sourcing information from millions of other data sources around the world for you. So that is one good thing about technology. The other sad part of it is that it also takes away being able to go out there and start things from the scratch. Because if now your lecturers give you assignments, all you could do is how to develop a crisis communication plan and the course come down. Previously, you'd have to equally go by the books or get to speak to industry people. I have some of you bring questionnaires and all that and question them on how to develop, and we take you through rudimentarily, step by step to doing that. Then that way, you own it. But with technology, so those are some of the downtimes for technology. But all in all, technology has come to help us to enrich our work, not to take our brains from us. You use it to a point, but you must always be willing to add your brains to the facts that you've gathered as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ali.
Thank you very much. I think for us as industry, that is constantly, changing, with the speed of light. Technology, has become everything about our sector, especially the banking industry space. And so it has become so critical to the extent that customers and stakeholders, are increasingly discerning. They are well informed. They want convenience. And so you must make sure systems are put in place to ensure that you are able to delight your customers. You are able to meet that unique needs. Gone were the days, or gone are the days where, for example, account opening, for example, was mainly manual. You needed to visit a branch, for example, a branch of a bank, for example, in order to get your account open. Today, You can sit within the comfort of your chair and then have at least a dummy account open, pending, regularization. In some instances, it is end-to-end. You can sit within the comfort of your chair and then open an account. That is technology for us, online. I don't know whether some few days ago, you read a story that said, robot commits suicide in South Korea. Who heard it? And the reason is the robot was made to overwork. A robot committing suicide. Well, no matter how fiction it is telling you that technology is taking over, our jobs. Technology is doing things hitherto human beings were doing. And so we must also, strategize. We must also be up and doing and ensure that even though technology cannot completely take over, but there's that supposed to be, the symbiotic relationship. We work hand in hand. As we speak now, within the banking sector, for example, banks are now beginning to roll AI, like my colleague talked about, AI and chatbots and other robotics, just to enhance interactions between customers, stakeholders, and then the banks. So it's become a 24-hour, engagement, interactions. You are able to get service even midnight without physically, interacting with the institution. That is how far technology has brought us. And so we must also, be up and doing. So for us as industry, that is a challenge, or that is the impact of technology. For you, in fact, and for me as well, because I'm also still in the academia, for us as academia as well, we need to ask ourselves, to what extent can we collaborate with technology? If we are not smart about that, in fact, we will get the certificates come out without getting jobs. For example, we have now even rolled out, or there is even an AI marketing. There is gradually AI PR is gradually being rolled out as well. So I'm just telling you this so that you have it at the back of your mind. See, as I learning the theories and all that, what other technological aspects can you add on to make yourself competitive? Because in the job market, everybody, in fact, it's a jungle. Everybody is fighting for one thing, the job. But your ability to get it depends on how you are able to add value to yourself. Let industry see value in you. So to the extent that you are able to bring on board technology, to leverage on technology, to be able to contribute significantly to industry, you are adding value. And so academia and industry, we are being challenged by technology. AI is everywhere. Today, you sit down, you go to a chat GPT, right? You get everything you want. The only difference we have now is the fact that ChatGPT is not able to reference. Referencing is now the challenge as far as ChatGPT is concerned. But even that, other platforms are now beginning to solve that problem. So that is how far we are going. And so there is a need for us to all wake up and ensure that we upgrade ourselves. Otherwise, Charlie, you go day back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. To add to what they've all said, ChatGTP is great, but I can assure you, she enters the same prompts, you enter the same prompts, you enter the same prompts, we are bringing the same strategy, and that's embarrassing. Please don't let anyone tell you that what you are learning here is not relevant. It's built your creativity, it built your mind. You are able to put your creativity to work. What you feed ChatGTP, it grows with it. There's a generic answer in there for everybody, and that's not what customers, that's not what the world wants. Coming from doing a lot of Ghana work, and now I have to do sub-regional work, it puts you at a point where you are challenged to do things differently. And ChatGTP does not cut it. Gamma does not cut it. You can get the base document, but you have to be creative when it comes out. You have to tailor-make it to your clients, to your industry, to your target audience. So industry, yes, we are thriving. Academia, please pick all you can learn from here before you use the AI tools. Thank you very much. Very quickly, the academic people here, please give your input for the same question. Innovation. Yes. He can start.
All right, so it's a double-edged, sword issue. AI is good. Technology in general, it has come to stay. And we need to start brainstorming as to how we can integrate these tools into our teaching in the classroom, because it will ultimately benefit the students when they go out there to practice. However, there are also ethical concerns as to how much you can use AI and how much you can use this technology. And I know I have a quote I always give them in class: use AI, don't allow AI to use you, right? So in using AI, you need to, understand that it's supposed to guide you to a particular limit. And I do tell them anytime I give them assignment that your ability to be creative, your ability to be different, make you valuable, make people know you. If anything, you have to rely on AI to, do everything for you, then of course, where lies your value? Because if there is this, pitch elevation that you're going to present to a panel, and your strategies are AI generated, you have to be mindful that these people also know how to look for answers from this platform. In that case, what is the difference? They could have used that same AI to solve the problem you are coming to solve. Then, of course, you don't have a job. So you need to just use this platform ethically, right? Just to get the knowledge, but the actual thinking, the actual brainstorming. I always empower my students that think differently. How different can I do this that will make me stand out? And I tell them the best strategies are the strategies you develop yourself, not the strategies you pick from books. Those books strategies that you are picking, it is somebody who developed them. And they develop them based on a certain premise of context. You are working in a different context, so you need to study your context. You need to study the problems that you are dealing with within your context and figure out the strategies that can work. But like Madam Bridget said, if you want to rely on AI, they give you that generic knowledge that does not come with context application. And that is where your problem will be. You remember the assignment I gave you about branding Ghana, right? Identify a specific product or concept, a unique idea that you sell out to the international market. And you see, the moment you start the presentation, I'm able to tell that this is AI influenced. Because I know that if you were to think deep, if you were to brainstorm, you would have come out with strategies that are more practical than what you were giving out, right? And that's why your marks were low. Sorry to announce that. Thank you.
Well, Hussein is so funny. Please, as if this is the platform to deliver the news. Anyways, as somebody who teaches a bit of artificial intelligence within the management space, I can confidently say that generative AI is here to change the communication sciences, largely because, okay, so let me take you into a little something. There's something called natural language processing, or NLP. That's what generative AI that we know now is built off. And generative AI doesn't think. What it does is that it understands the context in which language has been developed in and then responds based on that. So it needs a lot of training data to do that. So people like Professor Fosu, I saw him around. He's one of our professors here in the communication sciences who appreciate that, where the way people talk or the way people see the world, how they've always written things down, that is what it does. It predicts the next likely thing to follow based on what you've actually pushed out there. And because of that, it's made content generation very, very easy. In fact, a lot of the jobs that are communication related, it appears, if you look at the stats, those are the places that is going to hit heavily. Now, AI or generative AI in itself can be a friend. In a sense that recently I was teaching one program, and from what is happening in industry, people will tell you one thing, that generative AI is actually making their work much easier. So it's easier for people to do things that they would have taken a longer time to do, and then it will need a lot more people. So it would affect it. I think it's high time people appreciate that it is here to stay, because it's just like the calculator. If you did any bit of core math would, maybe, let me push it to elective math. Elective math, they will give you a calculator, and if they tell you go and use a calculator in the exam hall, it's nearly useless. The same thing applies with generative AI. I think that the transformation that's happening is that we as academics must now be pushed to a point whereby whatever we tell our students to go out there and do, or the assignments we give them, must be such that it goes beyond just putting in a prompt and getting an answer, but sitting down and actually seeing how pragmatic things would be. And as for industry, it's already changing things. We can't deny it. So the onus falls on students to understand how those things work. Mauli mentioned stuff about understanding prompt engineering. Is really important. If you understand it, you can play a better role in the field. When you go in there, people know that, oh, you know how to use it, then you use it. Are we okay? So yes, AI is what is going to change the whole game. It is generative AI. AI has been there for years. We've been using it for years. But generative AI in itself is about to change the whole communication game. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much to my very able panelists. I enjoyed this.
Right,
I don't know about you.
I think you forgot I'm a bit
Yeah. No, you said you wouldn't talk.
No, I didn't say that. I said you should go first. Yeah.
Sorry.
I just said you should take it first. That was all, yeah. But I don't have much to add. I think they've said a lot of it. And also, it's very important that when there is new technology, we make sure that we don't become laggards or late adopters in catching up with this technology, that we are at the forefront of it. Of course, the development of it, we need to be part of it because we are universities, and hopefully there are new media courses that would also help us to be able to build some of these things ourselves. So technology is extremely important, and one of the ways you can learn how to use it is by practicing. Okay, in the newsroom, as a public relations person, how are you using these tools yourselves? And when you go to the industry, you will be forced to use it. Okay, you'll be forced to use it. So if you go to any newsroom, for instance, how are they using that technology? And the more you do, the more you learn. I was in the Joy FM newsroom. I went there to do what I call my own immersive kind of learning, but also to share with them how to better do their jobs as well. So I played two different roles over there, both as a lecturer or professor, and then also in my own professional industry training. And one of the things which I love, and which I think you should be able to do right from level 100, is that you get acquainted with the technology when you are forced to do the job. So, and even when I had to cover the primaries. So I did Fix the Country campaign. I covered the demonstration where the 37, we went through it all the way to the police day and all of that. I had to shoot, record, file stories. When I traveled out of the country, the same thing. That was even worse because I was a one-man moving reporter. And mobile journalism is very important. You know, we have one of the most powerful tools in the world today, just your mobile phone. Just that. You don't need anything too complicated. You just need to train yourself to do editing, to take graphic design courses, to take online. There are a lot of free programs and courses online. You know, CSS, coding, different things. Some of them take a month, a few weeks, and you're good to go. Or go to YouTube and get those skills for yourself. Because when you go out there looking for a job, they are going to look at that extra thing to do. I mean, I was just a one-man mobile 21st century reporter, so I had to go get my sources, do the interviews, take myself there, record them, edit some of them, file it over. I mean, I was doing online, I was doing video, and different things, and sometimes live. I'm doing live reports as well. So without technology, there's absolutely no way you can do it. And I didn't have to travel with the complicated stuff, you know. I just had my mobile phone, you know, with me. And that is what did the job for me, you know. So I would encourage you to practice and adapt those new technologies, use them, practice with the technology, and it will work for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to each and every one of you. This was very insightful for me. Vena Natural Mineral Water, Fiesta Royal Hotel, Ejuma for Job Recruitment, 3 Hills Ghana Limited, Meldus, and then the media partners want to thank Asasi Radio, TV3, UTV, Peace FM, GH1 TV, and Ghanaian Times. Thank you so much for having us.
Please let's put our hand together for them. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, members of the panel. We are so grateful. We'll be taking questions and answers shortly. I hope you've learned a thing or two, or more. More. Okay. I'm going to give you something in a minute and a half, 2 minutes before you go. When I come to outfits like yours, I like to share them because you may never hear someone tell you about these things. But I want to start, though, with the leadership of UNIMAC IG. I found it always curious, and whenever I've interacted with a government statistician, Professor Samuel Kobene, I've told him, you know, in other countries, they know how many accountants they will need in a year. Engineers, architects, lawyers, so they prepare. We don't have that in Ghana. I know Professor Nim, I've been interacting with him, and these are things they have in the pipeline. But how about you, academia? It's like a fan belt. We are producing PR people. We are producing communications people for non-existent jobs. So, for academia, what are you doing to know what exists, what doesn't exist, and how to fine-tune the product before it goes on the market? That's it. But for you, the students, I'll just say this. Build your knowledge base, not just for the grades. In my undergrad, I made a 3.9 out of 4.0. That's 390 points out of 400. Impressive, right? Actually, on the job market, it means absolutely nothing. It means 0, Mauli. It will only get your foot into the door. But you see, once you get behind the door, you better know how to do something. Else your 3.9 will see you on the streets. So build your knowledge. Sometimes I read stuff on surgery. And it will interest you that I have conversations and later on, what I read becomes useful. Read wide. Read for knowledge. Some of you are too intent on exams. And that's your problem. That's your failing. 2, knowledge versus wisdom. Do you know the difference? You do? Knowledge is knowing. Wisdom is the application of the knowledge. So if you don't even know, what will you apply? Number 3, instead of using GPT, to cheat in your assignments, you can use it to learn. Do you know that? The very things you are keying in and copying and pasting, How about you rather reflect on those things and build yourself? Actually, when that question comes to you, you will not need to do copy and paste because you would have something in here. The trick is to get it in here. But you don't want to get it in here. You want the fast way. So copy and paste, and they'll catch you. And the very final point before I take the questions. Where did I even note this? Let me just... So sacrifice. That's the very final point. I noticed when let me just get the name. She spoke about this accountant. Yes, Madam Vitokwao. She spoke about that gentleman who came. Was it from the Western region? Yes, but he said he said it was Western region, yeah? He volunteered. One thing I've also noticed, and it's practical, it's things I see at work. That's why, because a lot of you come to us anyway. And sometimes we have these discussions that you don't know of. Some of you want quick access. You don't want to sacrifice. I'll tell you, that is one major blunder. If you want to work, learn to sacrifice. Don't look for benefits from every little thing. Oh, may I say, yeah, I must get this. A friend of mine who is at Academic City University recently shared something about the students, and they needed some creative efforts. And guess what? The students, oh, you must give me quid pro quo. Give me something before I do this. And some of these students ended up doing stuff. Someone saw what they had done. That ended up leading to a job when they were done with school. These are practical lessons. No one may have the time to tell you, but this is what applies in the jungle called the work or the professional environment. Just food for you to ponder on. Any questions? It will have to be quick. We are a little behind time. If you have questions for our panel members, they are still here. I see Professor Sikanku has had to exit, but I'm sure he'll be back shortly. Questions? Okay, so maybe we can take them in batches. Maybe 2 rounds. That is, if we have any questions. I see 1. Any others? Okay, so 2. Like Bridget is saying, is if there's something you need clarity on, you want better understanding on, you can reach out. So 2. Any others? 3. Oh, and by the way, so 4. Hey, no gentlemen. 5. Can you come forward? 6. In doing this and inviting you forward, I'm also trying to help you build your oratorial skills and your confidence. Some of you are too afraid to speak in public. You know, so yet you want to be media people and you're afraid to speak in public. So when will you learn it? Please come forward. All of those who raised your hands. Who raised his or her hand first? How would I even know? Okay, we'll start with the lady, and then, yes, please. Can we start with you? Please, can you?
Good morning. Please, I'm Uswa. I have 2 questions, actually. My first question is, as young practitioners coming up, what challenges should we expect to face on the field? And secondly, we keep hearing that what we learn in class, that the theories we learn in class, is far different from what we are going to practice on the field. How true is this? And how, if it is not true, how are you going to combine the theories we learn in class with the practical aspects on the field? Thank you.
All right, so mine is also about internships, especially. I believe once we come to you for internships, you can equally help us. Why do you always want to make it more like difficult for us to get internships? We have to be rushing to your vehicles. We have to be sitting at the halls waiting for you to come to work. Like, we have to be chasing you. Whilst you can equally give us this opportunity, you give us your WhatsApp contacts, you give us your social media email address, we send messages, yet no response. Why so? That's my first question. Yes. My second question is.
So let's be brief.
Yes. So can you share an example where collaboration with academic researchers has significantly benefited any of your PR campaigns? We just want to have an experience on that. Thank you.
My name is Dan Yamwa. So my question, Nelson Mandela once said, if you want to destroy a nation, you don't use a long-range missile or atomic bomb, but then lower the standard of the country's education. And with what our panelists told us, I would like to know that as time moves on, as revolutionized as a country, how best are we able to know that these particular courses that we are running are no more relevant in our system? That there's a need for us to roll out new courses which will be able to meet the new demands in the corporate world is one thing, so that as we graduate and then go into the field, we'll be able to bridge that gap that has been created. Thank you.
I think I want to answer your question before you go, right? When I was in school, all the things I'm doing today, no one taught me. You know how I'm able to do them? I stay learning. You have to stay learning. You have to stay asking questions. You have to research. Just like I mentioned that I interned throughout school, that helped me to realize that some of the things I was learning in class, well, I needed to up my game. The system is never going to be ideal. And life is not linear. Things don't go the way we want them to go. You understand? So very simply, you stay learning, research, find out, don't sit back. Make sure that every time you hear something you don't understand, you find out. Does that answer your question?
Now, I was talking of some of the courses, as to whether they have lived their purpose or maybe they are outdated.
Yeah.
And as to how we can also introduce new courses that meet the demands of the corporate world.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the collaboration that they mentioned, collaborating with academia. And then Mr. Nee mentioned that we need to reach out to each other. Can businesses come and say, okay, can we have students or can we have academia work on this with us? You understand? So it goes both ways for us. You have to reach out. We also meet you halfway. You're on your business working with books and stuff like that. We have to meet clients' demands. You understand? So you have to reach out. You have to stay learning. You have to find out things you don't know or you've heard of for once. Right, thanks. I think we need to answer some of the questions before we move on, because for the
I think we
purpose
can
of time.
take the first batch, just
Yes,
finish with the batch
yes.
and then let them, before they
okay.
come through.
Okay. Who's taking? Yeah.
He's saying they should finish. That's true.
So we could just complete the batch and then...
Okay.
All right. My name is Gladys, and it's humbling hearing from luminaries of your kind. I found Madame Victor Kwau's earlier remarks quite moving, because I could tell that she was frustrated that the powers that be constantly tamper with our education, and we pay to be educated. And sometimes I find it quite disturbing that we read about China and how they are big on evolving their world, how their educational system is somewhat extremely pragmatic. But then we come here and it's mostly theoretical. And so I would suggest that next time if we are having a conversation of this sort, we imbibe in the powers that be to meet us halfway so that we don't somewhat waste our money on some sort of education that wouldn't get us anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, my name is Kukwa Fancy. Mine is about the remarks Madame Bellona's made concerning we being bold to go into any institution for internships. But there's this situation where you send your letters to the institution and the receptionist wouldn't even allow you to see the HR. The reception alone they will give you wouldn't even make you go back. An example, I was in a hospital one day when a lady came. According to her, she's a midwife, and she brought a letter for internship. Unfortunately, that clinic didn't even have a midwife. But the way the receptionist handled the issue, they didn't even want her to see the HR. And we all know this situation. She was insisting to see the HR, but yet, because they are there, there's nothing you can do. They did not allow her to see the HR. In this case, how do we deal with such challenges? Thank you.
Thank you all very much. I'm not going to take the wind out of their sail, but I should just say this as well. You cannot go somewhere and simply demand to meet an HR. It doesn't work out like that. The HR could be out, the HR could be unavailable, the HR could be busy, the HR could be sick. And in any case, for security reasons, in my line of work, let's say a lot of people come every day. They want to meet this person, that person. For security reasons, sometimes they will stop you there. They will take your phone numbers. I will look at the issue. Sometimes the issues are frivolous, but sometimes you realize there's a serious issue here, and we'll give you a call. It's also a protective mechanism. So let's look at it from both angles. Over to you.
Just a minute. So to add to what you just said, when I heard about UNIMAC a long time ago, I wanted, in my line of work, I wanted to get guest lecturing for my colleagues at work, etc. And I could just walk in here with a letter. It might take forever. So I went on LinkedIn. I followed her. I don't know her from anywhere. Today, when I saw her face, I was like, oh, this is the lady. When we are done, I'll go and talk to her. You understand? You look for people. I don't know them. I went and followed her on LinkedIn. I've been looking at her work for a while. And there are other people here that I followed too. You have to be very innovative in your approach, because companies have quotas for hiring every year. So my company, when to get an intern, is a lot. You have to go from one point to the other to get approvals. It's a lot. It's not that easy. You understand? But when you create personal relationships, slowly and very strategically, it works. If you go and demand, why are you demanding? They don't owe you anything. They don't owe you any. How about the companies you like? You follow them on LinkedIn. You follow people on IG. You like their work. You comment on them, right? You build relationships. Gradually, public relations is about building relationships. And you can't force people to want you. You can't force people to hire you. You have to be very strategic in these things. That's how I approach the job I got. This job I work right now. And I didn't know people in there. I followed them for a very long time. You understand? The day I met my current boss, like, oh, I've been following you for a while. He said, you've been stalking me. So the internship, please know that no one owes you internship. That's one. Two, you deserve to have internship, but you have to work at it gradually. And the school has to also help by, writing letters to institutions and then giving us students. Currently, I would love to have interns. If UNIMAC writes to our institution and says, oh, we have these students that we think can do great with you, can we bring them? Of course, I'll have a look. But if you come and demand that my receptionist to I don't have the time. Two, that's unfair to the receptionist too. You understand? So please be strategic in your approach and build relationships gradually. Thank you.
Okay, I think, okay.
All right.
Okay.
So because of the passage of time, let's be a bit brief, but
yes.
Let's address all the issues as quickly as possible.
So I think just to add a bit more to what Bridget said, we did indicate that you are in a jungle, okay? You are in a jungle. The environment is a highly competitive environment. The institutions are fewer than the numbers. For example, in ADB, we received not less than 1,000 applications for national service every year. Everybody wants to come and do national service. We can accommodate everybody. You get it? So to what extent have you put yourself in a position that gives you an advantage? And that was just what Bridget said. And we said it earlier. You need to add value to yourself. Look, when I was going to do my national service, let me just give you a brief story. I started working it when I was in level 300. I started because I had, a place in mind. that I wanted to do my national service at the Office of Parliament because I was a political science student, okay, and I really loved students and national politics. So I just wanted to go and see what was happening there. Level 300, first semester, I started working. By my second semester, level 400, I had secured my national service even before leaving the university. This is what you need to do. In fact, nobody will spoon feed you. You need to position yourselves. All right? You need to position. Once you add value to yourself, you position, yourself very well. You network, you create relationship. You have it.
Right.
Number two, I think somebody asked a question about linking theories to, practicals. I just thought of it, and I want to just give one example. See, within the banking space, for example, there is this thing that came up. And I kept telling people, especially my colleagues in the industry, when you go to branches, for example, every bank, in terms of their brand, they have their brand elements, they have their brand architecture, they have their what we call the flow. And I'm sure that academia, you'll be the best person to tell me. We have a theory that is called a theory of flow, right? Yeah, flow theory. Flow theory. It is directly linked to how institutions are set up, how branches are set up, to the extent that when you go to a particular branch of a bank, you should be able to say that, oh, this bank, when you go to their branch, this is how they are set up. Yes, that is application of theory. Is that not it? My bosses. You get it? So, there is that direct link. The only thing we need to do is that we need to, like we said earlier, there is a need for us to understand, so in terms of practice, this theory, how is it applicable? Okay, so that once you get to know, and then once you begin to connect with industry, gradually you are able to apply the theories you learn, from academia on the job. Thank you very much.
The issue of getting access to officers at the institutions you visit, I would recommend that it is organized from the school level. The school should be able to draw up a program where relationship with industry is deliberate and consciously done, where industry entities are identified to have interaction with students. So in a semester, you can identify 2 or 3 industries who have some regular interaction with the students as part of learning and teaching. So there's that we call exposure. So the exposure must come from the school level to kind of usher you, create the link between you and industry, specific industry. Students must be encouraged to develop their personal identities that resonate with industry brands and values. Attitude is very important. As students, we have attitudes that can knock off people, and we are not ready to change. So as individuals, if you have your purpose of being where you are, develop an attitude that is positive enough to be identified with an industry brand. So timeliness, if you come for lectures late, you don't pay attention in class, and they take you to an industry where time is of essence. You go there, you spoil the record. Tomorrow, anybody from UNIMAC IJ will not be tolerated. And we all know how bad information sells quickest. That is one of the biggest challenges we have. So as individuals of UNIMAC, what are your personal values to that of the school? Can you identify something? These are the things you have to work on. So when you even walk into an institution, the way you present yourself and conduct yourself can even give you access to the chief executive. When you go there demanding as if there's no tomorrow, you'll be thrown out. And that's what some of you do. And when you are going there, inform your head of faculty. Don't just get up and walk there. So things must be done in an approved and authorized manner. Take an initiative, but go through your lecturer, go through your dean, and let them organize it for you so that the relationship is consciously built, and then you can take advantage of the relationship to get a link. And things are properly done so that over time it can be measured. Now, the relevance of our academic courses to industry. There is no study that is not relevant in this world. Things you learned even at kindergarten today are very important. We see on the teles some of our MPs who could not sing the national anthem. We all learned it from primary school. Understanding what you learn from the basics is what leads to application. So if in KG you were told to be polite to people you meet and you didn't get it right, when you grow up, no matter what you have been given, you continue not to be polite to people. So it is understanding what you are taught in the context and applying it. It makes it very relevant. I am not an engineer. I'm not a scientist. But today, I had to give out information on nuclear technology engineering. I was sharing with some of the co-panelists in 2012, when I thought I needed a change in my profession, because I have done hydro, I've done thermal, has been at the heart of a lot of thermal projects. I went to do research, and I discovered Ghana is doing nuclear applications in health and in agric. And I started reading about nuclear power. And whenever there is anything on nuclear power, I volunteer from my department. 2012. In 2020, when there was the need for a staff to be seconded to start Ghana's nuclear plant, and I was approached, I was ready to go. So I moved on. 2012 to 2020. That was how long it took. Why? My action was deliberate, and I put effort into it. And then I had to develop values that are consistent with the nuclear technology landscape, especially in terms of safety, in terms of security, in terms of safeguards. So please, do not restrict yourself in the acquisition of knowledge. It has been said, read wide. When you understand it, the time will come when you will need to apply it. Again, let's learn to be very observant. Some of us, we are present, but we do not observe. So in the classroom, you are present. You are not listening. You are not observing. So when you go onto the field, you do not observe anything. You are in a hurry. Last year, for instance, in my place at Nuclear Power, we had some students who could not even recall the name of their lecturers. I was sad. Who could not write a weekly report? And then they said, Madam, we were not taught. Report writing at UNIMAC, IJ, you were not taught, or we were only taught how to write news. But information is news. So our attitude, our preparedness as individuals, our own values must resonate with industry values. Not everything, but out of it, you should see something. One of my directors, former directors, told me, if there is a vacancy and you want to apply for the job, and you go through the roles and responsibility, you realize you cannot do 65% of what is stated, don't apply. So please, let's catch a need for ourselves as individuals. Let's learn to brand ourselves. And this one, I would kindly request academic, the school, let's begin to do some holistic teaching. Let's adapt the individuals to what we teach. It's important we get them applying knowledge to the soft skills requirement. Some of them are outside their areas of courses. Somebody comes, I've done BA communication, and the person cannot even write a letter to the media for media coverage, and doesn't even know what goes into news gathering. So let's go beyond what is academically required and see what skills, soft skills they have that can be harnessed. And then we can fuse the two and have a time for orientation. When we have to send our students out, let's get a period where we take them through orientation. Invite people in industry to come and have a day, 2-day, 3-day program with them. When you go on the field, these are the expectations. These are the guidelines you follow. Ask questions. This is the way of behavior. I tell you every media institution has a dressing code. Go to multimedia, there's a way they dress. Go to City FM, there's a way they dress. But when we go, we wear things as if we are going to the sports stadium. And when we are told, so that is the way I dress. At UNIMAC IJ, there was a time you had a uniform. A prescribed way of dressing to even appear in public. We've lost all those things in the name of civilization. And we dress anyhow, appear anyhow. So our totality as an individual, plus what is required within the ambient of the industry, is what would help us to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mauli, is there anyone else who wants to pass a comment? So let me just add this one because it's a question that came through. For the sake of time, I'm trying to trim it down so that we can, because we have a few more steps to go. Those watching online, we had SNA Gloria from Evo send the question. She says, we are saying the marriage between academia and practice should be strengthened, but the practitioners in the various organizations are not willing to help students with their research by making information readily available for them. It is very sad. If you expect to be spoon-fed, no one will spoon-feed you. That is one. Two, I have personally, there are people who have reached out to me from here. Some of them reached out to me through their parents or someone I know and said, oh, we want, for example, there are some assignments you are given and you need something from a media station and all that. They reach out. Sometimes I share with them based on the people. But some of the information you may seek from some entities, they can't give you. Another route you can use, like Madam Vetokwao said, would be to go through your lecturer or your department, because then it's official and then they can release that information to maybe your class or your group. So strategize. Don't just expect everything to be done for you. Mauli. I think Mauli will be the last contributor. Okay. Thank you.
So just to add to the point that students don't get the opportunity to do internships, I think you are in the University of Communication, Media and Studies. One of your key things to do is to take up writing. If you want to be noticed, take up writing. Get to publish articles, get to publish stuff. It doesn't matter the platform. Bridget, I never got to know Bridget. Today we met, she said, oh, I've been following your communication masterclass. How did that happen? We had COVID. I was home. I was feeling bored. I still want to impact knowledge. So I started doing a communication masterclass, interviewing all of my friends and networks I know across the world. Once I call you, are you available for an hour chat? We go live on Facebook. We were sharing knowledge. She got to watch. How many? I've stopped for almost 2 years, but she's still talking about it. You must carve a niche for yourself. I go to interviews and all they remember, oh, you hosted the communication masterclass. It was a self-initiative. If you don't do that, nobody will recognize you, because it's like we are all craving for attention. And mind you, you may see me from where you are seated that, oh, this guy must be comfortable. sorry, I'm not comfortable. I still want to climb up the ladder. Now, when it came to resource or using technology, I have one of my handbooks I have given to me by an uncle at the World Bank is a communication handbook. At the time he gave me, I held that so much to my chest. Today, it's all over on the internet. So meaning the resources that are available today are just enormous. You don't have to struggle to go to anybody to gather information on anything. With a click of a button, you can access that. So please, make the conscious effort personally that you must be recognized, you must carve a niche for yourself, and that's only happen if you put in the work. But if you don't put in the work and you want to just walk up to somebody to spoon feed you on something, no one will do that. I have some of your research stuff. I was telling your lecturers this morning that someone reached out to me just yesterday to help. The approach, why do you even take up to WhatsApping people? WhatsApp is a very private and personal thing. If you and I do not have that very personal relationship, why would we be chatting on WhatsApp? The best thing to do in terms of protocol, etiquette, you pick up the phone. Hi, gentlemen. My name is so-and-so. I would like to discuss this with you. Do you have some time to spare? Oh, young lady, unfortunately, I'm not ready at this time. Can we talk at this time or I'll call you back? But here you go. WhatsApp is available. You go on Facebook. I am Abena Kwachiwa. I want to do so-and-so. The school say we should do A, B, C, and D. And you expect me to spend my time working on you? Because what you are expecting is that I'll sit down, type all the answers back to you, then research work is done. No way. Be proactive, redefine yourself, align yourself, and the world will recognize you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's clap for our panelists. Let's clap for the moderator. All of them sharing very relevant, practical knowledge. Before we conclude, I also just want to say this very briefly. Do you know the unemployment rate in Ghana? I think it is important you know so that you realize what Muhammad Ali was saying. It's not just a jungle, it is dog eats dog. No one knows. That's why you are relaxed. Even that is a conservative figure, the 14.7% from the first 3 quarters of 2023. Very conservative. And that is especially for those aged between 15 and 35. It moved from around 1.2 million to over 1.3 million plus. And do you know the most disturbing thing? Many more of them are women. Female. So if you are here and you're a woman, they play, as we say it. They play. He go over you. Be serious. The work environment out there, you meet many people with first class, with the same skill sets you are coming with. What will separate you? Think about it. I hear some coupons have been given out to some of you students for food. So when we are done here, please don't go away. Just meet at the rear and members. And I'm going to invite forward those with the citations to quickly get them in. And I also invite forward at various times Dr. Rodelyn Amate, Dean of Students first. Later, just announcing, later I will announce Mrs. Patience Sowa, the registrar, and finally, Dr. Albert Anani Bosman, Head of Department, Public Relations Department. But for now, I'd like to invite forward Dr. Rodelyn Amate, Dean of Students. Doc, please, let's put our hands together for her. Let's keep clapping. Thank you so much for doing us the honors. And she's going to be delivering a citation to 2 people, starting with our very own moderator, Bridget Besemete. Please, let's have a citation. I see they took Bridget by surprise. They took me by surprise, eh? Okay, all right. I can tell by the smile on your face. The next presentation Doc will make will be to Madam Bellona Gerard Vitokwao. Please, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you, Bridget and Madam Bellona. Her work experience is more than some of you are in age. Now I'll invite forward Mrs. Patience Soa, Registrar, UNIMAC IJ. Please, let's welcome her. And she will be making some presentations as well. The very first one, Ni Nokwe Taki. Oh, Nani, so I didn't wear. And this is a virtual collection. The next one is Mr. Idrisu Husseini, please. Thank you very much, Mrs. Soa. Thank you so much. Let's give her some honors. Please, let's clap for her, Mrs. Soa. So to make the next presentations, we have the head of department, Public Relations Department, in the person of Dr. Albert Anani Bosman. Dr. Bosman. For a moment, when I saw the gentleman come, I was about to say, Dr. Abopao. Doctor is very muscular. Then I realized that, that is not Dr. Bosman. And those he's going to be presenting citations to, my good friend, Mauli Fui Kwajovia. The next one, Professor Eche Sikanku. And the last one, the only pugilist, the only boxer among all of them, Muhammad Ali. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate all of you. Let me just acknowledge one more time those who helped us come through with this event, who sponsored us in different ways. Verna Mineral Water, Fiesta Royale Hotel, Ejuma for Job Recruitment, The Three Hills Ghana Limited, and Melders. The media partners, Asasi Radio, TV3, UTV, Peace FM, GH1 TV, and in terms of the print media, the Ghanaian Times newspaper. We're going to be taking some photographs, but before we do so, this is a special request from Musa Barry. It's the birthday, I hear, the sort of interesting things you do. The birthday of one of the student leaders. And is that a request from Musa Barry, or it is Musa Barry himself? Where is Nelly? Is it Musa's birthday, or is it the birthday of someone else and the request is being made? Musa, is it your birthday? Is it your birthday? Oh, okay, please come, let us. But you know, you probably shouldn't have done this. I'm an old vandal. Do you know what we do on people's birthdays? Exactly. So what do you think? This will be live ponding. But rather, I think we would rather bless you, right? For the good work you're doing for UNIMAC IJ. And they have chooked you, so Omwe Yuama. Happy birthday, bro. Right, so now for our closing remarks and appreciation, after which, please let me just announce, there will also be an order of photography. There will be a photo session here, so, Bridget.
Everyone, I'm so grateful for this, I can't put it down. Talking to you about writing, please don't take it lightly. My company, we have a whole department under influencer marketing. And we don't just pick mega influencers, we pick micro, nano, mega. Please distinguish yourselves. Just write, okay? The following you have, don't take it for granted. Sometimes somebody has 300 following on Instagram and they sell a product for a client better than somebody who has 6 million. Put your passion out there because you chose this, right? Unless you're like me with a finance major and then I had to find myself later. You chose this because you wanted to be here. Please, write. If it is cooking you like to do, put your phone upside down, cook, put it on social media. If it is sewing you like to do that. Be known for something. I want to be able to call one of you and say, hey, a client wants this. I want you to represent the client as an influencer. I'm telling you, we use micro-influencers every day. So if I'm leaving you with anything today, please build yourselves. Create your niche, write, put out content, so that I can proudly say, oh, I was here, they gave me this beautiful thing, and now I'm giving back to them. Do you understand? Are we on board? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bridget. So after the closing remarks and appreciation and the closing prayer as well, we'll have the photo session, refreshment for our panelists, and yes, you'll get to interact with them before we depart. But the order of photography, just so you know, so we'll have the panelists, then the panelists together with deans of faculty and other faculty members of UNIMAC. Then we'll have the panelists with FOPAM faculty and then student leadership in that order. On that note, I'd like to invite forward Reverend Yao Odami Joe, Dean Organizing Faculty, Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing, to deliver the closing remarks and appreciation. Yes, sir.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. MC. It's a great, great, great privilege to have this event come to a successful end. And I would like to quickly recap on some of the things that our panelists have said. From Madame Belloni, I have picked up the issue of alignment and the need for us, the practitioners, the academics and the practitioners, to align our programs with the needs of the industry. And most especially, I think it should also be a national agenda that the entire country or the leadership of the country should consider aligning our educational system with what would feed industry or would align with the needs of industry. That, for me, is critical. Mr. Ibrahim touched on the issue of national service and ensuring that we put our students in a position to be able to at least volunteer, intern, and do national service, beginning with help coming from the academics, is that also from the university? So we should have some kind of relationship before we send our students out there for, And I think one of the things you said, which also reminded me when I was in level 200, is that we should be free to engage each other. Industry should be able to engage academics and come to the university and say, hey, we need this help. I think Mr. Ninokwe also emphasized that. We need this help and we want you to help us. When I was in level 200 in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the Water Resources Commission visited our college because we were into design. And they were in need of a logo. And they threw it out there for a national challenge. It didn't work, so they brought it to the college. And it became a competitive project for us. We did it, and the best 3 logos were picked. And the one that they use currently, still in use, came from our batch in 1998 graphic design class in college. So I think that it is very, very important that we look at it, and we are open, and our doors are open as academics or university to help in that regard. And maybe at this point, let me put it across that, yes, the concentration is on students, but what about us, the lecturers, who also are looking forward to receiving grants for research that we do? And my question that I wanted to ask, which Benjamin didn't allow lecturers to also ask questions, is that would you want, or do you have that kind of facility for us to get our research grants, grants for our research, and to help us take our research off the shelves and make them more relevant for national development and corporate development? I think that if you can create that platform for us, it would be great. I have an American professor who is a friend. He has over 50 grants, research grants that have been funded, different amounts of money funded by corporate institutions and all that. Something we don't do in Ghana. But we want to appeal to you through this platform that consider us also. We are doing a lot of research this time around, and we need support for it. Thank you very much. Oh, I thought you'd be clapping for that one. Mr. Mauli, I want to recap on what you said. What motivated you to come to the school? Why are you here? You should think about it. Prof. H.S. Ikanko, I like your 3-step model, which is the process, the methods, and then the tools. Fantastic ideas that you shared with us. And I think that our students should pick it up and ensure that they work it. Mr. Ninokwe, firms coming on to say that, or coming to academics to say that we want to do this, so help us, is critical. And I think I've shared that already. Mr. Fuseni, thank you for your ideas. Collaborative responsibility is what I picked from your presentation or submission, the earliest one, the very first one. Collaborative responsibility, the fact that it's a shared responsibility. And I think we need to look at that. Very important. When it came to the tech advancement, a few things I picked up, which I want to share with us. We should adopt the new technologies, and we should not be laggards. I think that this is something that I've always been talking about in my class with my students. We should catch up with the times and leverage on the power of AI and technology to make our work, or to make our work better. Mr. Ninokwe mentioned the fact that generative AI is about to take or change the whole communication landscape. I think at a later forum, he would shed more light on it. Now, again, maybe from Madame Belloni, what is UNIMAC doing to know the number of, okay, no, I think Benjamin, you're the one who asked that question. What is UNIMAC doing to know the number of PR students? Is that right? Okay. Yes, that we are producing, and how to cut them or nurture them to fit into the industry. I think this is a question we are going to pass on to our VC to consider, including the remarks that came from Dr. Madame Bellona, Bellona. Right. So we've noted that. Me and Dr. Ohene Esa, we have noted that, and we are going to pass it on to our VC. Now, to the students, I want to charge you with one word, which is yourself. Which is what? Yourself. If we were in England, they would say, do it yourself, which is DIY. So this is what I want you to take home. We need to bridge the gap between industry and academia, but I can tell you that bridging the gap and the responsibility of bridging that gap is not the practitioners and it's not industry. It is you, yourself. Create something for yourself. Develop yourself. Position yourself. Of course, with a niche. Add value to yourself. Example, creating a blog, something we've been talking about in the class all this while. Every time we mention this, when we mention it, they make us look as if we are some primitive, lecturers who are talking. But that is the order of the day, and something you can do to, actually develop yourself and show. I always make reference to Umaru Sanda Amadou and the fact that when in 2010, when he was a diploma student, and we encouraged them to do blogs, okay? He took it seriously, created his blog, and that is what gave him a place in CTFM. And today he's part of the management team of CTFM. I mean, and doing very well, okay? So learn from it. Okay, still about yourself. Make yourself competitive and build relationships for yourself. That was from our moderator. Sacrifice something for yourself by volunteering and taking on internship positions. I will share my experience. When I was in the UK, and of course I was doing my master's, okay, I also had to, take up what they call educational adaptation courses, all right, because I wanted to become a teacher in a British classroom. And they said, I don't have experience for British classroom. I have Ghana experience. So in order for me to be able to teach in a British classroom, I had to take the adaptative course. And I took the adaptation course. When I finished, I was looking for a job with that certificate. They said, no, you can't teach. Why? I don't have British classroom experience. Okay, no problem. What do I have to do? They said, well, if you will volunteer, you will get the experience. I said, fine, no problem. I volunteered for 3 months. And that got me teaching in 6 secondary schools in London, in the heart of London, and 1 primary school. If I should mention the secondary school, you don't even know them, so I don't even have to mention them. All right, But that gave me experience through volunteering. Nobody paid me a dime. The only thing I was getting was school feeding program, capitation grant is also there. Do you see? You only get food, lunch, at lunchtime as a teacher. Otherwise, nothing else. But after 3 months, I got enrolled with an agency, a recruitment agency. They took me on. They began to assign me to a school. And I ended up in Barking College in Romford. And I became an assistant lecturer for 10 months before I came to Ghana. Before I came back to Ghana. But where did I get that experience from? From volunteering. What did I sacrifice? Something of my time, my energy, my money, whatever. So that's why I always tell you that when we are asking you to do practicals in class and asking you to pay money for it, do not attempt to gain or whatever. You have to learn to invest in the career and have a career objective. You don't know how much we as lecturers and practitioners have sacrificed to be where we are. You have no idea. So students, please, it's about yourself. Get ready to sacrifice more and do more for yourself. And you would be in a better place one day. Maybe 5 years' time, 10 years' time, you'll be the one sitting here and talking to students who would be here 10 years' time. Thank you very much. Let me, at this time, acknowledge our panelists. Thank you very much, Madame Bellona. Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. And thank you, Mr. Mauli, our practitioners. You have done justice to the topic, and you have helped us to understand that the honors is on us. Thank you, Bridget, for that fantastic delivery and moderation. And to my colleague lecturers, thank you for your insights. Prof. Echesikanko, thank you for your insights, Mr. Nino Kwe and Mr. Fuseni. Let me also say a very, very big thank you to Dr. Ohene Esa, who stood in for our VC, and all the other lecturers, Dr. Rodalia Amati, everybody else. Thank you very much, our MC for the day, Mr. Benjamin, coming all the way from Multimedia Joy. I was very happy to see that we were getting somebody from Multimedia. So at this time, let me, on behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Media Arts and Communication and the management team of this wonderful university, say a big thank you to all of us, all of you who are gathered here, our practitioners, our lecturers, and everybody who came to make this a success. I cannot forget to mention Mr. Bright Senanu, who... Oh, let's appreciate him. He's right there. Please come. Oh, they want to see you. They want to see you. Some people don't know you, so please come around and let's see you. Thank you very much for that wonderful organization. I know you've gone through a lot to make this happen, but we are grateful. Your students, are you not grateful for this? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Thank you very much. It's not a joke. It's not a joke at all. Wow. So on behalf of the university, and then again on behalf of the FOPAM, Faculty of Public Relations, Advertising and Marketing, and on behalf of all the lecturers, everybody, we want to say a big thank you for coming. APC 2024 is down and done. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Jau. I'm supposing maybe your fancy-looking pen is mine now. Your fancy-looking pen. Is it yours? Okay, then it's my property now. I believe you may have skipped the name of Mr. Kwejovia. We acknowledge you as well. I know it was just an oversight. You mentioned all the panel members. Well, I hope you had fun. It's been a long day, but you need these things to also build on your own capacity. So thank you for coming. We're now going to have the closing prayer, and I'll invite forward Bernard Afo Ansa to deliver the closing prayer. Are you Bernard? Okay. Okay.
May we be upstanding. Let's pray. Our most gracious and everlasting Father, we thank you for a very wonderful day. We thank you for this conference. You have been so grateful to us, and we really appreciate. We thank you for making it possible for all our guests to be present, for our students to be present, and for everything that we have done wrong. Heavenly Father, we beg of you to forgive us. As we go, Lord, help us to be able to pass our exams. Please, Father, help us to pass our exams. Father, please help us to pass our exams, so that everything that we do here will be to the glorification of your holy name. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen.
Please let us be seated. Please let us sit. Let us sit. Please let's sit. Let's not go yet, please.